Hi everyone, this is Arcadius and welcome back to Naval Creed. Today we'll be going over the next British heavy cruiser, that is Albemarle. But before that, there was an update recently, and so we have a couple new things to go over. Real quickly, this isn't new material, but it is new for me. I now have the Free XP Worcester class, which is originally named Vallejo in the game, but I renamed her Charleston because I already have a Vallejo. It's the Worcester with the Baltimore guns. And honestly, she's not terrible, but I just don't find her that fun. But we'll have our own video on her when we get there. And lastly, we have a new event come out. It's an everyday challenge. Pretty much you go up against a really squishy H-45. Quite a few tier 8 battleships. There's also an Oregon City and another cruiser. I forget what it is now. And a tier 9 porter, I think it is. Regardless, it's not terrible. There's no carriers. That's always a good thing. It's really easy to get through. And your final reward, besides 2 rank points that are very nice, is the French battleship Toulouse, which we were given a preview at last week. It is the Alsace with triples instead of quad 15-inch guns, and we lost a couple of our twin 4-inch guns, which doesn't really matter because these are practically worthless anyways because they can't pen much. I've seen them shatter on destroyers before, so yeah, but we'll have our own video on Toulouse. She's actually very, very strong. She comes with 4 heals and 4 gun reload boosters, or 4 speed boost if you prefer that, which the only ship that has 4 reload boosters is Charlemagne, which is the rank point ship. And it's actually the one I think I'm going to get next, believe it or not, just to finish up getting all of the French battleships. But going back to Toulouse, Richelieu, Joan of Arc, and France all have reload boosters as well, or can equip them. But they only have 3 charges, so to have 4 charges gives you quite an advantage over the enemy. So again, we'll have our own video on her, but if you would like some inspiration for this event to power through it, this ship is very well worth it. So yeah, we'll have our own video on the event as well, but today it is a focus on the British heavy cruiser. Now, Albemarle, I'm going to just say it right out, I'm not really happy with the ship. She's not bad, but she's not spectacular in any way either. There's probably a ton of other cruisers at tier 8 that I would choose over her. But she is still pretty powerful, so let's take a look to see what we have. We have 41,800 health, 15% torpedo damage resistance, armor of 6 to 152 millimeters of thickness. We have quite a big citadel, so everything you see right here in the red is actually the thickest armor at 152 millimeters or 6 inches, but that's also exactly where the citadel is. So if you get shot from the side, you have this entire box that can be a citadel, and if you are overpenned through the nose, you can be penned through here, and you have this little step right here that is actually works as a shell catch. So if you get hit here, that's also a citadel. The stern is flat. This is the first time we see this in the British heavy cruisers, but we have seen it before in the British battle cruisers from Vanguard up to G3 and K2. They have a flat side. It also counts as a flat surface, so if you shoot here on those ships, you can actually possibly get a citadel. And the same thing rings true with Albemarle. If you shoot through the stern, you can actually get a citadel hit through there, or the shell catch right there. So do be careful when you are giving your stern towards the enemy. Another thing, I'm just going to do this real quick. You actually have a little bit of an armor plate right here, and it's nice that it's actually even modeled in game. You have a little bit of a wraparound armor plate right there. It's not going to save you, don't get me wrong, but it's nice to at least see that it's modeled. Armor-wise, you are probably very squishy. That being said, I have shot at this ship before expecting citadels and not getting any. But we've seen this ship quite a few times in event missions, and it's very easy to one-shot with battleships, so be careful of that. We do have some way to mitigate that. We'll go over that in a moment, but let's focus on the guns here. We have triple 8-inch guns. The first time we're seeing triple 8-inch for the British heavy cruisers. You have 2 in the front, 1 in the back. They're not terrible. The entire focus of the British heavy cruiser line, and in my opinion, is going to be high explosive and set lots and lots and lots of fires. Your armor piercing is okay against cruisers and like the bows and sterns of battleships, but honestly, it's really disappointing, and you will probably get more damage out of high explosive in the superstructure on battleships than armor piercing at the unarmored ends of it. So I just stick with high explosive. Like I said, 5.5 rounds a minute, 32nd degree turn time. You can see all the stats here. Pretty fast shells. You have 16.6% chance to fire. All good stuff. Our main range is 16.4 kilometers. That sounds kind of short to me, but I don't really remember all the ranges of the ships, so I'm not sure. Well, actually, let's compare it to the light cruiser. We have, well, technically Belfast is 7.5, but let's see what her range is. 15.1. Okay, so it's at least a little bit better than that one. What about Edinburgh, which is also another 7.5, 16.3. So you're still not getting that much more of a benefit there, but still range is range. Let's just keep going with guns. AA. Actually, no, we have secondaries. I take that back. 5-kilometer secondaries. We still have 3 twin 4-inch guns on the side, or just close enough to 4-inch. They're there. Don't really expect them to do much, though. You honestly shouldn't be focusing on your secondaries at all. Not in this ship, surprisingly. Let's see. AA. I think I'm working on the Captain Crew skill, so the ranges are a little bit updated on mine, but the damages are still the same. You can see here that your middle range is pretty decent, but the range itself is not all that great. Your long range is pretty pathetic, and even your inner range is even worse. So not a big AA ship, but she still has a fair amount of it. You can see it lined up all on the ship here, and a lot on the rear superstructure. You can see it all piled up there. That being said, we do have float planes as well. We have... how many? We have 4 planes. I think this ship is the one that starts having the twin fighters, and then I think Tier 9 Oxford also has twin, and then EOE or EOA has triple, but we'll figure that out again in the game. Regardless, we have some planes too. That's again the Spitfire. You can see it there. And lastly, actually no, we have 2 things. We have torpedoes. 10 kilometers, which is pretty nice. I think Surrey only gets 8 kilometers. Yeah, she only gets 8 kilometers. So we now have a couple extra kilometers. They're still pretty slow, 55 knots, but 13,000 damage is pretty nice, especially when we have quadruple mounts. Detectability range is still pretty low at 1.2. Flood chances there, and rate of fire is not the best, but again, you're not a destroyer, so it doesn't really matter. You have 1 quad launcher per side. Speed, 33 knots, so pretty fast as well. Can't say you are a slow ship. And then the last thing, consumables. You have DCP, you have a repair. You can actually get a super repair starting here. Actually, why is... I have 4 of these? 4 super heals versus 3? If that's true, then this one's the better one. And then a smoke screen as well, because 8-inch guns and a smoke screen are actually very, very effective. Now you can use the upgraded cruiser aiming module. That'll give you 15% or minus 15% deviation versus the normal 7% from tier 8 and below. However, for this ship, I don't really have that many guns, so I'm trying to shoot out as many shells as possible. So I decided to go with rate of fire and reload as I normally do. So with that, let's toss her into a game and see what we can do. Alright, so we're in a game. Let's take a look to see what we have. We have an Enterprise, a North Carolina, Cleveland, Neptune, Wichita, Albemarle, Lafayette, and a Levantask. Not very battleship heavy, which is fine with me. We do get 4 heals. Alright, so I did actually look into the heals a little bit more because that caught me off guard. I thought it was going to be like the Neptune and Minotaur heal, where you only get a couple of charges, but they do a lot more heal. during their duration. The drawback with this one is that it's 10 seconds shorter duration, 20 seconds longer cooldown, but you do get 4 charges instead of 3. So this is actually a lot better in my opinion, because if you can actually extract yourself and heal up again, then that'll be very, very nice. And I'm curious to see how much health it actually heals as well. And that's also the same for the tier 9 and tier 10. I did take a look at that too. And I have since switched those. So we'll see how these heals work out. Let's see, gun angles. Before we lock onto any targets. There we go. It's not actually that bad, but anything in front of the bow turrets and towards the front is going to get a full pen and possibly even citadel. But anything from the midships astern might actually ricochet, but it is questionable. Torpedo angles, amazing as always. Absolutely love these torpedo angles. These are very good for rushing battleships. You just put some over here, and then all of a sudden you turn your ship and you have users on the other side. Alright, so I have high explosive loaded. The one battleship is way over there in the back. I already forgot what it was. Oh, it's in North Carolina. That's what it was. I'm not really going to bother with the left on task because she's so far away. Alright, so here is the enemy Albemarle. So let's show you what explosive does to her first. You can see our accuracy is pretty good already, even without the, accuracy module. I did run her a little bit with the accuracy module. It wasn't terrible, but my reload suffered because of it, obviously. And I just didn't like my rate of fire at that point. So we're just working down this Albemarle a little bit. You can see how it's not exactly that strong. I'm getting a lot of shatters. That's probably because I'm hitting the main gun turrets. Now let's see if we can do something better against this Cleveland here. Might actually switch to armor piercing as well. I know I'm still going full speed towards the island, but interesting how I have torpedoes coming from behind me. We have armor piercing loaded. Let's see what we can do against this Cleveland. Overpens. And got dive bomb for a double fire. Still no citadels on the Cleveland. That's actually kind of disappointing. Let's use a heal. Oh, and she's gone. Alright, let's get ourselves in a little bit better position, and then we're going to smoke up. Might as well use our DCP as well. 6 ricochets on a Wichita. At that angle? Really? You can kind of see how I just prefer to use my high explosive, because high explosive will always do damage as long as it actually doesn't just straight up shatter. Alright, so we're going to sit here. Let's actually send some torpedoes towards this North Carolina. Highly doubt they're going to hit, but you never know. Yeah, she's already maneuvering. It's fine. Alright, Neptune. What is our reload like? Not the best. Even my secondaries are opening up on the North Cal. What do I want to do here? Well, she's going to keep going at me. I'm going to be able to use some of my armor piercing. I like how I'm being dropped by torpedo bombers and a smoke screen, because why bother trying to conceal myself? Because that works so well. I really don't understand how carrier aircraft can still see you in smoke screens. They do that with dive bombers as well. Occasionally with torpedo bombers. It's not as often though. But it's still just as annoying. When you're in a smoke screen, you shouldn't be able to be seen by aircraft. But I do like how they torpedoed themselves though. I'm going to use another shield because I still have 3 of them. And let's see if those torpedoes work out. Goodbye. I do have a seaplane. We launched 2 planes at a time. So we do have the twin fighter, like I mentioned. And I don't really know where this carrier is going to go. So we're going to go down this way and loop around, because it may be going this way. Or it may loop around and go that way. I've seen both happen. There is a Laffy over there, though. My Neptune should be able to deal with that. Let's see if we can find this carrier. It looks like it's coming from over here, so we're going to be dealing with a lot of aircraft. We already actually have shot down 10 of them. So our AA, oh, make that 11, it's actually pretty okay. Not gonna lie, I'm pretty impressed. Wow, even another one. I'm gonna use the island for cover. You know, I take back what I said about the ship's AA. I'm pleasantly surprised, actually. Yes, it is Japanese aircraft. No, I'm just kidding, I'm wrong. It's American aircraft. Japanese aircraft are kind of weaker, in my opinion. They fall a lot easier. But if it's American aircraft, then those are the tanky ones. But let's see if we can dodge torpedoes. I don't think so. Did get a fire. Took flooding. Still 2 heals though. That is actually very nice. I'm going to run with the 4 heals on the ships from now on because that's just amazingly good. The only bonus of the 3 heal is that it is ready a lot quicker and it lasts a lot longer. But I'd rather have 4 heals than long heals. So, and we're just gonna work over this Enterprise for a little bit. It's not like she can really do much. I'm not even gonna try and use armor piercing. High explosive is working, so why bother? Just use a heal for the heck of it. Have our final kill. So let's see how we actually were able to do. Alright. 123,000 damage. Not a big damaged game, but remember there's only 1 battleship and a bunch of cruisers. 2 ships were sunk, 152 shell hits, 1 torpedo hit, 17 aircraft shot down, 6 fires, 1 flooding, 1 module destroyed, and 61 secondary hits. High explosive did 83,000 damage, armor piercing did 14,000, fires did 20,000, secondary battery did about 2,000. Not quite sure on what, maybe the Cleveland, who knows. And then torpedoes, the 1 hit on the North Cal did just over 3,000 damage, but it does on paper do a lot more damage. That's all it needed to sink the ship. But yeah, you can see the ship is actually pretty decent. I am surprised by the number of AA kills we were able to get. That is very, very nice. Yeah, so that middle ring is actually pretty decent. Better than I expected. So if you really wanted to, you can make the ship full AA. Yeah, you can do the AA enhancement. She might actually do pretty well in that role. But if they're still able to drop you on a smoke screen, then it doesn't really matter. But regardless, that is the Tier 8 matchmaking heavy cruiser for the British line, Albemarle, and she is okay, but not my favorite. Tomorrow, or the next time I do a video, we are going to be going over the Tier 9, which is a very, very beautiful ship. She has 4 triple turrets advantage guns, and she is the Oxford, or as I renamed her, Drake. So join me next time while we go over Tier 9 Drake. Thank you and take care.